ladies and gentlemen, 10 people have lost their lives due to rain-related incidents across Delhi NCR region in the last 24 hours. In Wayanad, the death toll due to the killer landslides is rising every hour. It stands above 290 even as we speak. In Himachal Pradesh, 4 people have lost their lives and over 50 are feared missing after a terrifying cloudburst. In Uttarakhand, 12 people lost their lives after overnight rains wreaked havoc in the state. Viewers, the loss of lives and sheer extent of devastation across states due to monsoon fury should have brought the entire political class together to find out solutions and to stand in solidarity with people who are suffering. But what are they doing instead? They're raining scorn and barbs at the government over a video that shows water leak in the new parliament building. Letters of leaders of the India Alliance have latched on to this video that shows a blue bucket collecting water that is dripping from the domes of the new parliament building, where the opposition says the government has wasted 12,000 crore worth of taxpayers' money. Congress party has called for an investigation into the water leak. Akhilesh Yadav has suggested that it's time to go back to the old parliament building. Ironically, the Aam Aadmi Party that is facing questions over rain-related deaths in the national capital has now fired the Ab Ki Baar leak Sarkar jibe at the government. The Lok Sabha Secretariat, though, has clarified. It has said that during the heavy rains yesterday, the adhesive material used to fix the glass domes over the lobby of the new Sansad building was slightly displaced, causing minor leakage of the water in the lobby. But the BJP is accusing the opposition of deflecting attention from the death and devastation in states ruled by the opposition parties. They're questioning the silence of the Congress on how left government ignored warnings on the Wayanad landslides. They are even questioning the attempt to politicize the bullet train warning by Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath over the Lucknow harassment case. Is political point scoring more important than people and their lives? Watch what happened today.
It's not a parliament, it's an edifice to Narendra Modi ji's ego. So since he has anyway got the people of India have shown him a lesson, it is only natural that as a natural consequence of that even the parliament's lobby will leak.
There was paper leakage yesterday, earlier, then there was Ram Mandir leakage, then now it is Temple of Democracy leakage.
मोदी है तो मुमकिन है, हर जगह लीकेज, हर जगह रिश्वतखोरी.
Sir, gas leakage, sir. This is gas leakage. Sir, gas leakage.
Shall we adjourn the House for 15 minutes? Thank you. House adjourned for 15 minutes.
Look, I don't think this is the place or the time to talk about political issues. People here require help.
कि जो गोमती नगर की घटना उस घटना में भी हम लोगों ने जवाबदेही तय की है. ये सद्भावना वाले लोग हैं और इनके लिए सद्भावना ट्रेन चलाएंगे, इनके लिए बुलेट ट्रेन चलेगी, चिंता मत करो.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the legitimate question we are asking on the Newshour tonight is outrage only reserved for leak in Sansad and not people's lives? That's the question and that's the debate coming up on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Joining the debate tonight is Govt Bhatia, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Deepak Reddy, National Spokesperson of the TDP, Sanjay Jha, suspended Congress leader Amit Jamai, National Spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, Vivek Srivastava, political analyst, also supports the left parties. But my first question to Govt Bhatia of the BJP. And Govt Bhatia, questions are being raised by the Congress party, by the entire opposition on the leakage in Sansad Bhavan, and they say it's 1,200 crore rupees down the drain. even moving an adjournment motion on this issue or raising the demand like Akhilesh Yadav has done of moving back to the old parliament building. What do you make of the entire opposition that's coming for the shoddy state of the Sansad Bhavan?
Navika, first of all, I think it is a very healthy sign if questions are raised, and the opposition is very much entitled to raise these questions. Rather, I feel a responsive government, a responsible government will always respond well and will also ensure that if there is an issue, it is sorted out early. So as a very responsible spokesperson of a responsible party, I would like to say that yes, there was a problem, a very minor one. So that does not entitle anybody to raise questions, and that too serious questions about the entire building that has come up in a record time even during COVID pandemic, and it is serving the country well. But the CPWD has responded, and I want to read the tweet. It says, heat of unprecedented summer followed by very intense rain eroded silicon from a glass joint on Lok Sabha lobby skylight, creating a small issue. It was addressed immediately. This is very important. It was addressed immediately. Structural integrity, waterproofing, etc. are in good condition. So that means within 24 hours, a responsible and a responsive government has taken care of the issue. And we will not ask any journalist, aapki jaat kya hai? Aap Godi media ho? We will not even call names to the opposition because they are well within their rights to question. But I have a problem, starting from the Congress party. The real leakage is when there is a CWG scam, 70,000 crores. And this scam, we will remember, because look at this bridge. This is a aero bridge, and what happens to it? It collapses completely. Just 12 days before the Commonwealth Games. So this is questionable. 13 people were injured. This is Congress government, the Ghotala government. This is the leakage. Second, 2G gate, 122 licenses cancelled. That's a leakage. Coal gate scam, that's a leakage. And for the Aam Aadmi Party also, I want to say, jahan dekho wahan leakage hai. Navika ji, aap mujhe bataiye, the Delhi Jal Board and the Irrigation Department under Arvind Kejriwal, who's behind bars, is not doing his job well. We lost 3 of our fellow citizens. Who's to be blamed for that? There is a leakage, liquor scam. There is a leakage regarding toilets as classroom. That is a scam. There is a scam of Sheesh Mahal. And that is why I say, when accountability has to be fixed, the principle has to be the same for everyone. Bharatiya Janata Party is synonymous to accountability, and Arvind Kejriwal or Congress Party is synonymous to corruption. And people of India can see that.
Well, Sanjay Jha, let me ask you this. When it came to the 3 young IAS aspirants, the Congress Party did not raise that issue in Parliament. Why? Because they would have had to question the Aam Aadmi Party government, and for appearance's sake, you would show that the opposition of Modi is united, even though you're not united on the ground. I want to ask you, when the issue of Wayanad was raised, the Home Minister had to get up and say that early warning systems were applicable. There were warnings sent on 23rd, 24th and 26th of July. There were also warnings sent on the 29th of July, which was a orange alert. And then 7 a.m. Red alert on the day the landslides took place. Absolutely no heed paid to them. But Congress did not say anything. Because at that time you say, and fairly, I welcome that step, that you don't want to do politics on that. And sure, when approximately 300 people die, one shouldn't do politics. But if it happens in Uttar Pradesh, if it happens in the Sansad, then politics is fine, it's legit. But if it happens, in an opposition-ruled state, then, opposition or politics is not legit. These different standards, should we put them aside now?
Navika, I will agree with you to a great extent. I do. I just feel that what you're witnessing under this new tenure of the Prime Minister, NDA 3, is a very astonishing and a disconcerting level of a governance deficit. And I'll give you those as an example. You know, it is absolutely extraordinary that we have seen so many instances of airports crumbling, the infrastructure crumbling at the airports. We even have had deaths. I mean, that is, frankly speaking, it really does not make us look good. Forget in the eyes of the world, but it is actually mocking the taxpayer, the ordinary people of India who are funding this. People who are watching this program and at their homes have funded these airports. They are the ones who have funded these railway tracks and these new trains. And you've seen the number of train accidents that have happened. Then you look at the new parliament building, which Mr. Modi wanted to get done in a hurry. I agree with you that, you know, there can be an explanation that the water seeped in because of some kind of a technical flaw or a structural kind of a fault line. But let's be honest about that. These are not expected. Tomorrow there'll be a security breach and somebody will say, you know, this was just one of those things that happened. I mean, I can tell you there are big, well-known companies that have constructed the parliament office, the Central Vista. Somebody needs to explain, where is the due diligence? Has there been shoddy work? Has there been corruption? Were the deadlines changed to just meet a certain, Mr. Modi's fantasy before the 2024 elections? I just feel these are very serious issues that concern all of us. The politics is only because it's happening at such remarkable frequency that I think people watching this program are not interested in hearing Gaurav Bhatia and me get into some kind of a political slugfest. The ordinary people, through either direct taxes or GST, are funding it. Mr. Modi can try and create symbols that this is actually supported by the people of India. Politicians can brand it the way they like. They all have done it for a long time. But at the moment, we all have a right to ask, why is the infrastructure so shoddy and shabby? Why are people's lives at risk at airports, at railway stations, and now even at Parliament building? And Gaurav, for God's sake, Parliament houses the representatives of the people's choice. If they tomorrow are, say, not safe, there's a short circuit, the waterlogging leads to some other kind of a dangerous repercussion, what explanation will you give to the people of India? Because you created this whole hype over India's big infra push, and people are seeing today a very brazen exhibition of extremely subpar operational designs and performance. There can be no excuse for that. I hope you won't justify it. You spent a lot of time criticizing the Congress.
If you're worried about a short circuit due to the water dripping in the new parliament, I don't know how many times you visited the old parliament, but I've reported from there for 25 years, and that was a sitting disaster with overhead wires, falling all over the place and heaters switched on during winters. So, the parliament that many parties are saying let's go back to was a bigger short circuit potential disaster situation than just the dripping water. But the point about infrastructure, well taken. New infrastructure crumbling clearly raises some questions, Gaurav Bhatia, and those questions also come from the citizens of India.
Navika, I think I started the entire discussion on a very positive note because I know the citizens of India have expectations from Narendra Modi, not from the corrupt Congress. But there is a fact check I want to do. Mr. Sanjay Jha is misleading the viewers of your channel because the roof that collapsed in one of the terminals of the Delhi airport was actually inaugurated during the Congress government. He forgot to mention that. Second, I also showed a picture of a footbridge that collapsed in 2010, and that was just before the Commonwealth Games. He did not respond to that. Third, I also want to tell him, Mr. Sanjay Jha, where was the accountability? This is the story. Lok Sabha roof leaks during 0 hour. Navika Kumar ji was the Speaker of the House at that time. Do you know what happened? You were so callous, so lazy, so corrupt to even act that a committee was constituted. Even to explore the idea of a new building of a parliament. You sat over it for 4 years. Nothing was done. And then came a man called Narendra Modi. Narendra Modi ji is a visionary. He ensured that even during the COVID pandemic, the building is completed. And I remember how full of hate all of you are. You called this temple of democracy Modi Mahal. And people of India have given a befitting response to the people who are spewing venom. And they are only increasing animosity against, the citizens and the political parties in the opposition. And Navika, I must also reiterate, they went to the Supreme Court with a petition. They went to the Delhi High Court. The petitions were dismissed, and that too with a cost. Because even the Supreme Court and the Delhi High Court felt that this building is the need of the hour. If there has been a small skirmish, I think it is a very welcome sign that it has been now corrected and responsibility has been taken. But questions will be asked of all the leakage of funds that has been done during the Congress government in the past, as well as the Aam Aadmi Party, where the Chief Minister is behind bars for the last 4.5 months on charges of corruption. This is the kind of leakage people of India have seen.
Well, let me get in Ameek Jamai. Ameek Jamai, Akhilesh Yadav says, let's go back to the old parliament. Now, when you raise questions about the leakage in parliament, it's just your obsession with somehow running down the new parliament, any effort by Modi Sarkar becomes so visible and apparent, because you had a problem with the national emblem, the lions were too aggressive for you, you had a problem with the fact that there was the Sengal that was placed, you had a problem with the entire central vista, as Gaurav Bhatia has pointed out. Every step of the way, it's been like finding one fault or the other. The fact of the matter was that the old parliament building was old. It was a 93 or 96-year-old building. There were problems. There wasn't enough room. And we've gone into this entire issue of how the previous governments, previous speakers had also recommended that a new building was necessary. But even today, pot shots are taken on the fact that, let's go back to the old building. The new building is not good enough. My question is, if you're so worried about that little seepage or the water dripping because there is the skylight and the adhesive had moved a bit, why did you not raise the issue about the loss of lives in Delhi itself on Arvind Kejriwal government and its responsibility? At that time, the only question that was demanded by Akhilesh Yadav is, when will you take action against the officials? Why officials? Everywhere else you want Modi to resign. In Delhi, why is it only about officials? Isn't there politics there?
देखिए, मेरे नेता अखिलेश यादव जी ने जिस तरफ इशारा किया है नाविका जी, वो एक ऑर्गेनाइज जो करप्शन है नरेंद्र मोदी की रिजीम का पूरे देश में, क्योंकि वो खुद अखिलेश यादव जी इंजीनियरिंग के बैकग्राउंड से आते हैं। आप गौरव भाटिया जी से सीखे, हमारा विरोध बहुत चलता है, लेकिन जो नया चीफ मिनिस्टर का ऑफिस बना है लखनऊ के अंदर, मतलब आपको लगेगा कि वो यूके का कोई पार्लियामेंट का एक हिस्सा यहां पे बन गया है। एक क्वेश्चन आज तक उस बिल्डिंग पे नहीं आए। तो सवाल ये कि जो सेंट्रल विस्टा है ये एक ऑर्गेनाइज करप्शन का सिंबल है, और ये पहले बारिश में दिख गया है। दूसरा आप आ जाइए, गौरव जी हमारे सुप्रीम कोर्ट में बहुत बड़े वकील माने जाते हैं और ये खुद भी कहते हैं कि वकालत करते हैं। क्या मामला आया है बिहार में? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 पुल। छपरा में और सिवान में तो एक दिन के अंदर 6 पुल डेमोलिश हो गए। और कितनी ईमानदारी की बात चिराग पासवान जी ने करी है, उन्होंने कहा कि जो भी भ्रष्टाचारी है उसको बख्शा नहीं जाएगा। एक केंद्रीय मंत्री हैं इनके, वो कहते हैं कि इसमें करप्शन की वजह से नहीं हुआ है, ये तो जो बारिश है ना, ये कोई माफिया है, ये कोई विलन है, इस वजह से हुआ है। आप सोचिए कि मोरबी का जो पुल का हादसा है, वहां से करप्शन की शुरुआत होती है। बिहार में 12 पुल, नाविका जी सोचिए कितना बड़ा विषय है। आप तो हमेशा इस बात को उठाती हैं। चिराग पासवान जो इनके बड़े नेता है वो ये कह रहे हैं कि उनको भ्रष्टाचार उसके अंदर दिख रहा है। तो सवाल ये है कि जितने नए आपने इमारतें बनाई हैं, पहली बारिश में उसका जो पूरा भंडाफोड़ हो गया है, तो आप नौकरी नहीं दे पा रहे हैं, आप पढ़ाई नहीं दे पा रहे हैं, आप शिक्षक नहीं दे पा रहे हैं, आप कंस्ट्रक्शन नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, आप हाईवे नहीं बना पा रहे हैं। क्या हुआ हाईवे का, पूर्वांचल हाईवे का? नाविका जी, कभी भी आप लखनऊ से आप गाजीपुर जाएं, एक रेस्टोरेंट के अंदर 2 मिनट के लिए आप बैठेंगे नहीं, जिस तरह की उसका क्वालिटी, जिस तरह का उसका हाईवे का जो लेवल है। तो पूरा करप्शन का अंबार है और वो बारिश में पहली बार आपके सामने आ गया। तो पुल वाले सवाल पे मैं चाहूंगा कि जो 12 पुल 1 महीने के अंदर गिर गए, ये जो भ्रष्टाचार का इशारा है, कुछ इस पे जरा भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लोग जरूर इस पर, मैं चाहूंगा कि उस पर रोशनी डालें।
गौरव भाटिया।
So, Navika, I noticed whether it was Sanjay Jha or the Samajwadi Party spokesperson, they are not willing to speak, not even a word on the 3 lives that we have lost of very young, promising student aspiring to serve the country by becoming the officers of the Indian Administrative Services. This is very sad. This is the duplicity that is so very visible, but I will, like a responsible spokesperson, respond to the statements that have been made. He was talking about highways. Let me tell you, the maximum number of highways are coming up during the regime of Yogi Adityanath ji. The Ganga Expressway is also near completion now. But I must show a picture. This is a picture, just see the car. This picture is showing the stretch from Agra to Lucknow, inaugurated by Akhilesh Yadav, and this car is down in the dumps 50 feet. Why? Because the expressway caved in. This was the kind of construction and corruption prevailing during the Samajwadi Party, and I'm sure the Samajwadi Party spokesperson will have no answers. Corruption? You will talk about corruption. Riverfront development. There is a CBI investigation that is going on. Akhilesh Yadav could not even act as a half chief minister. There was Lokayukta reports against Mayawati. Akhilesh Yadav decided not to act. Are you aware of the PDC scam? Ration meant for the poor was siphoned off by the minister in the Samajwadi Party government. The Supreme Court ordered a CBI investigation. And last but not the least, you remember Navika 2017, बीच में नहीं, मैंने आपकी बात सुनी, आप भी सुनिए और जवाब दीजिए अगर आपके पास है तो. You remember Safai Mahotsav, that ugly brazenness of Samajwadi Party, wasting exchequer's money. After 2017, have you seen any Safai Mahotsav in Safai? No, because now they will have to spend their own money. We are all about accountability and they are all about corruption. They come out to ask us questions, but when we ask them any questions, they will not answer. That is the difference.
And
I say this with
that's
some
also the frustration of the people of India, that nobody answers their questions.
I think we should at least learn lessons from that.
Well, absolutely. What is frustrating for viewers, for the middle class, for citizens of this country is the fact that we don't get any answers. Nobody will raise the issue, Deepak Reddy, of the problems and the lives lost in Delhi. Nobody will really talk about from the opposition issues about Wayanad. If corruption is the issue, then 5 years ago there was a report that was submitted. It is called the Gadgil report, and the Gadgil report had said that this is the place where there can be landslides and all these unauthorized development that is happening there should not be allowed to happen. It is a risk area, but then there could have been, because everybody is alleging corruption. Why were these things not looked at? Why was a blind eye turned? People can say there was corruption there, that is why people looked the other way. But they will not ask those questions about what happened in Wayanad. They will only ask about what happened in UP, what happened in a BJP ruled state, what happened in the parliament. Is this politicization and this rampant disregard for human life of citizens who actually fund everything? Is this now getting too much to bear, Deepak Reddy? And should politicians realize this, cutting across party lines?
Navika, the last few months I've been looking at the Congress, the India ecosystem very closely, trying to understand their mindset. Whenever they go on an attack, this is a trick. It is usually to cover up something of the mistakes what they have done. So then whenever they go on attack, you just dig in a little bit, you find out a whole lot of faults from their side, which they want to cover up. And when you think this is the low the party can go to, they actually stoop down to even further levels in the coming days. That's what is shocking me. Today, they have moved the adjournment motion in the parliament, and they have put out these videos with a tiny little blue bucket. I mean, you can see the size of the bucket, how much water it can actually hold in that. So yes, there was a leakage in the roof. Is that leakage more important? The people of India are asking. Or the taxpayers' money which is being leaked in crores of rupees by wasting their time in the parliament, and the trust what the people had put in these MPs and send them there, and they're not being very serious about their cause. That is a leakage of trust. These two are more important is what I'm questioning. What they should have been doing is talk about the construction code, talk about the materials which are being used, talk about the skill of the workforce, talk about the regulations, but they don't talk about any of these things, but rather come out with some lame kind of complaints which even a 10th class student is capable of. So that is the level of these leadership. Today, coming to the Delhi issue, so many lives have been lost. Is this more important to move in a adjournment motion, or is a tiny little roof leaking more important to move? I mean, this is something what the people of India are asking today. And what is really painful today is the little boy and the mother whose bodies were recovered. The mother actually held on to the little boy's hand, clutched, and when the bodies were recovered. It is so painful to hear that. The lives are being lost, and these people are, playing politics. On one hand, Rahul Gandhi says, let's not politicize, and the other hand, they're doing these dramas. I've seen one of their MP, Mr. Manikyam Thakur, talking as if the whole world is coming down with that little leak. What is the level these people are going to?
An adjournment motion. Adjournment motion called for this leak in parliament. No adjournment motion for the lives lost in Delhi. No adjournment motion. Not important enough. That's the misplaced priority.
And Mr. Manikyam Thakur, is running around every channel today, making this a big issue, a tiny little leakage. Are lives not more important? 10 lives are lost in Delhi, 4 lives in Himachal Pradesh, 12 lives in Uttarakhand, 290 lives in Kerala. Is this more important, or a tiny little leakage more important? So they wanted to cover up their mistakes in Wayanad, the illegalities which were done, the 4 incidents which have taken place from 2018, and the non-seriousness by the government and the mechanism there, and Rahul Gandhi not being there, although being a member. They wanted to cover up all this. Glad Mr. Gandhi is not here. If he was there, the first question he would have asked is, what is the jati of the people who constructed this building? Glad he is not there. I mean, I'm actually pained in one way to the level of they're stooping down in politics. Let us talk issues. Let us talk how to solve them. I mean, you are sitting
absolutely.
In a
Can we get together and ask how to solve these issues? Because they seem to not ask which way they are headed, which state they are headed, whether the state is ruled by the BJP dispensation or the opposition dispensation. These kind of disasters seem to be happening all over. So can we get together? And Vivek Srivastav, I want to ask you one question. There is a notification that has been issued in Kerala today, and this is from the Principal Secretary to the government in the Disaster Management Department, who says all science and technology institutions in the state of Kerala should not go to Wayanad because they should not, and they should be directed to restrain themselves from sharing their opinions and study reports to media. If any taken in the disaster area, prior permission shall be obtained from Kerala State Disaster Management Authority. Hello, what's your problem? Your problem is not to find out why the landslide occurred. You want to hide facts from the media, and you call Narendra Modi a dictator. Vivek Srivastav, how are you planning to hoodwink the people of Kerala and the rest of the country?
I'll tell you what. Ever since Arif Muhammad Khan has been made the governor of Kerala, Sanghikaran of the universities is his first agenda. We do not want irresponsible Sanghis coming in the guise of scientists and professors and doing mischief in the media so that panic comes in
I'm
the public.
sorry, some of those Sanghis are helping in disaster relief work.
It is the correct decision. We will. Please let me speak. Please let me speak. Please let me speak. You did not stop Mr. Reddy's nonsense. So let me speak. Now, first of all,
kindly
we will
use parliamentary
like
language, Vivek Srivastava.
We will definitely investigate. No, that's okay. I'll see now. See, let me start.
Much more stronger
seconds.
words
Start one by
for the
one.
melodrama you guys are doing.
One,
okay,
Mr. Reddy,
learn
please.
to be a little more.
Mr. Reddy, please.
Kind.
Mr. Reddy, please let me speak. You attack.
Learn to be a little polite.
Very irresponsibly the opposition.
Stronger words.
You do not know the extent
much
of.
Stronger words.
Listen to me first. Oh, fine. Then you please use it. After I have spoken, please do use it. I would like to listen to them. Now listen to me first.
All I was doing is highlighting the melodrama being done.
Do you know, Mr. Reddy,
and not being serious
Mr. Reddy,
about the lives which are lost.
Can I speak, Mr.
Reddy?
The
lives are lost and you're not serious about that.
Mr. Reddy, can I speak?
Please.
Mr. Reddy, can I speak? Navika, will you stop this gentleman?
Okay. Make your point.
Or you are there only to
be polite.
BJP studios.
But be polite. Doesn't hurt anybody to be polite.
Yeah. First of all, Mr. Reddy, thank you. Mr. Reddy, very respectfully, do you know the extent of waterlogging in and around the new parliament building? You do not know. There is a huge waterlogging, especially outside the Makardwar, number one. Number two, I am a technical man, I am an engineer. And there is a structural fault. The structural fault is they made the dome so that the sunlight could come in. This dome was not designed as per the design specification to counter the strong sunlight and the rains. It did not, adhesive moved. There could have been a bigger disaster if the dome collapsed. And there is no permanent solution to this. You cannot keep on putting the adhesive and sticking the dome. Ask any civil engineer, it is a major design fault. Should that be questioned by the opposition or not? We should question it in good faith. And it is a newly made building. आप राज चोला का राजदंड ले आए, आपने वास्तु किया, आपने ये किया, आपने वो किया. You have not designed the building as per the proper structural specifications.
But then why do you want to hide the studies on the Wayanad landslide? You are not answering that question, Vivek Srivastava.
Yeah, let me come.
Why do you want to hide that?
I am coming.
And why do you want to gag the media?
I answer every question. Vivek Srivastava never hides anything. I will answer that also. One more small point.
Mr. Govt, talk about the people of Delhi. You are talking about leakage. The people of Delhi are inundated.
Sir, let me speak.
It takes 4 hours for them to go home.
I'll come on both the points, provided you let me speak. अरे यार बोलने तो दो ना, आप भाषण मत दो यार. I don't need your भाषण. Let me speak. Number two, Mr. Gaurav Bhatia raised the point that airport में the crash that occurred and the collapse.
Everything under the sun, no answer on Delhi, no answer on why they want to gag the media. Gaurav Bhatia, I'm running out of time, but I give you 35 seconds to respond to Mr. Vivek Srivastava.
Let me come to Wayanad. Thank you. No, I want to talk about Wayanad.
First of all,
I don't have that kind of time, sir. You don't have half an hour to keep talking about everything except the question that is being asked of you. Gaurav Bhatia, please respond.
25 to 30 years, the MCD was in power in Delhi.
So, Navika, on a very positive note, I just want to say this, that Bharatiya Janata Party has truly worked in the spirit of cooperative federalism. Himachal Pradesh, our national president JP Nadda ji spoke to the chief minister, offered all the help. Amit Shah ji on the floor of the house made it very clear that an early warning was sent to the Kerala government. They decided to ignore it. Maybe we would have been able to save these precious lives, but 9 NDRF teams were rushed to Kerala on the 23rd itself. So I just want to say, when there is a tragedy in the nation, all the parties, the Treasury and the opposition benches should come together, and that is what we intend to do, to save every human life. Don't do cheap and petty politics. People of Bharat will punish.
Well, clearly that's what people of India want, which is please find a solution. Elections are over. We don't want to see any brownie points being scored by one side or the other. People have had a long and tiring election. It's behind us. There is a government in power, there is an opposition, and there are states and state governments. Please, everyone get together, find solutions rather than bickering, and stop crying about one drop leakage and worry about lives of poor people, lives of the aspirational India, lives of young India, which get electrocuted, Why they get drowned in basements. These are issues that you should worry about, not petty politics. We'll leave it at that. Thank you very much to all my panelists joining me on debate number 1.